Hi there. I got a bad comment and a bad reply earlier, and I just realized that I worked the audio and let it die on the thing in my former content video on it. I was complaining, my complaint it stems ultimately from a discussion that I got in earlier today with another YouTuber. When I had gone into a video about insurance. Um, I had gone over there and I gone into the in this and iPhone insurance, and like I was looking into this and on its content, but I found this video where it was like stop wasting your um your money on um like Square Trade, like insurance phones. And like I had found out about this because it was like I was thinking about going with a third party to insure my iPhone in particular, but the truth is that people were like, why would you go so far, to do this? Because I was saying to the people that I was looking for insurance for a jailbroken phone, and they're like, "That's pathetic that you're going about jailbreaking your phone in 2022 and everything." They were laughing at that just to make it like a stock Android phone, and I just sat there, looking at this, taking this abuse, and it was so frustrating, like taking it from this person because I would be like one of the first people to say you're right in all of this. I mean, well, not really exactly precisely that you're right about, the fact that an Android phone is better than an Apple phone. It's just, I literally have an iPhone. I inherited it. I got it for free. My family just gifted it to me, and so, you know, I my mom's a tech illiterate. I mean, what else do you want me to fucking say? Like, she's a technophobe. She doesn't think that like technology is important enough to actually learn about it. She's not one of those types. And because of that, she just wants something that just works basically. And my people, like, they don't there's no aspirational towards being able to repair your own devices and that sort of thing on their part. There's no desire to learn how to code or any of that sort of thing on their part. They've got no reason to want to go underneath the hood and get into things. And I'm not of that mentality. I'm more of a take responsibility for your own stuff sort of person, than my own family. And because of that, and because of the fact that things are that way, and I started thinking about getting an insurance from a third party for the iPhone. And I'm getting called like a tryhard for it by saying that that telling an insurance provider that it was a deal breaker if it wasn't capable of insuring a jailbroken phone. Because they were saying this, and I was like, I have a very exacting set of standards that I have to be able to, be able to buy. And it's this: stop wasting dollars on, your expensive phone insurance. Acco, who's trying to be like the cheap one. And I said, hi, I need one that supports jailbroken phones, though. Like, if they don't cover it, it's a deal breaker. And so this YouTuber, and this was 23 hours ago, who I will link you guys to, was laughing at me and making fun of me. It's Mr. Webley and his channel on this, and I don't like Mr. Webley. Sir, which can I like? Will you just freaking hear me out about all this? Like, your critique, like, I understand what you're saying, because I literally hate the iPhone. Like, I've never had a comfortable experience with it, but that device has value, okay? Because that device, like, there are plenty of people, independently of how I feel about my own device, that would buy it from me when I made the switch over. And it's going to be a while before I make the switch over to Android myself, because I'm going to have to do a lot of things to raise the money to do that, and pay off debt. First of all, I owe people some money. That stuff has to be paid off. And then I have a bunch of things that I want to get even before I go out and get a new phone. Okay, like, there's a magazine that I want to go with a lifetime sub and get all the back issues of, like, so desperately. That's 2600. I'm falling in love with this magazine almost the moment I started reading it, and I really like it. 2600. I highly rec it too, by the way. Um, it's just one of the best magazines and there's information that I just can't come across literally anywhere else in that publication, and it's just so awesome. I love it. And I love that I'm actually on the same side as some of the editorial staff too. We have a pretty broad agreement about like politics that I just didn't kind of expect. I mean, I think that there may be, given just like how politics tends to work, there may be some differences between us, but there's a lot of overlap at the same time. Like I do feel like a sense of common ground with the people there on that, you know, a lot of what they have to say. And oh, by the way, I love Aaron Swartz, like rest in peace, man. I just wanted to make a note of that here as we get into this. No, the internet's own, basically, if you look into him. But no, that iPhone, like I don't like it. I hate Apple's walled garden approach. I wouldn't even be trying to jailbreak it if I didn't have a passionate disdain for the walled garden approach. Like I want to see that walled garden hacked and burned the fuck down, and then literally somebody figure out a way to hire armed guards to prevent them from patching against it, so that even trying to patch to bring the walls back up becomes impossible. Like a grand metaphor in all of it, you want to hire armed guards to prevent Apple's staff from actually building the wall after somebody tears it down, break it down and leave it broken down. Like I'm sick of this shit. I fucking hate it. I hate it with a passionate disdain. And the inability to sideload apps is just absolutely infuriating on Apple, and it's a deal breaker. But I can't make good on that just yet. And the truth of the matter is just that, like, I'm gonna have my phone now for a while longer. I'm gonna have to deal with it and live with this between now and when I decide that it's ultimately time to switch over. And I do plan on doing that, but I can't do that overnight. And it just really really bugs me about that. And unfortunately, I made a video before about all this, but I screwed up. But yeah, I've got a few things on my bucket list of things that I want to buy. So there's that, and then there's a Netgate, a 20, like a Netgate router that I really wanted, and that's an $800 router. I'm trying to pull up the exact model. Oh yeah, it's a Netgate 61,000 router. I'm also going to need a wireless access point that I plug into this damn thing. It's an $800 device. It's not a cheap one for this, but this is a really like boss pfSense router that I'm saving up to basically get. It's an expensive device, but yeah, for us, and it's a pfSense, and it's a great piece of hardware to say the least, and I would actually recommend this particular one, even though it's not cheap. But it if you're thinking about doing the same sorts of things, like I've been thinking about learning how to penetrate, and do penetration testing, and covering my tracks is this device in particular is good for doing that, because it means that I've got OVPN, and not OpenVPN, but OVPN is literally my VPN provider, and I can program it into the router so that it doesn't matter that there isn't a Kali Linux client for it, and that will boost the anonymity on Kali Linux. Although I will probably chain it together with like proxy chains too, to really be with that guy that's hiding behind seven proxies and a few like seven proxies and a few VPNs. Like, good luck with that, and holding me accountable for anything at that point. And the truth of the matter is that with that damn phone, I fucking hate that phone. Like, that phone's a piece of shit. Like, I want a fucking Droid myself, but how I feel about it doesn't matter, because there's literally somebody that will buy it from me at some point. But I'd go and sell it. I'd go and sell it and then go buy a fucking Droid. So I should insure it between now and then. And it just, you're all laughing at me about like stock droid and that you go this far to do this on the make it just like a stock droid. You jailbreak it all the way in 2022. Like you can totally sideload on our stuff. I'm like, I know, dude. Like you're preaching to the fucking choir. I like the sad part is that people that do this, they don't even realize this about me in particular. Like I've hated Apple for a long time. Like I inherited my phone. My mom is a technophobe and she went with Apple and that's what I ended up getting, as a result. And so I ended up getting a cheap phone and he needs to know this and understand this. Like I'm not me personally, I'm not the right, type of customer for Apple. I don't like I'm PC master race. I don't really belong to, Apple. It doesn't make sense, like for me that, has been a PC user and literally like I've been running Kali Linux in the other room for a long time now. I borked my install and I have to go like put it back together, but I can do that. I mean, especially since the new version just dropped. But I've got USBs to put it on and do that and start going back to my learning how to do things. And I found a script to download via XDC bots over command line just recently. It was great, because I've been using xdc.eu, which is awesome. Yeah, awesome on that, on all that. And like I guess this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with my goddamn phone, but it like what I'm trying to tell you is just that there's a lot of things like I'm on a budget. There's a lot of things that I want to get between now and when I decide to switch over, and in the meantime I'm just trying to preserve my device, while still being able to use it and sideload apps, and get it insured. And Aiko is like, if Aiko doesn't have that kind of, and plus, leaving those kind of comments on people's videos is pressure on Aiko. It communicates with them that we need, the kinds of insurance, third party insurance that actually enables like jailbreaking that doesn't have an issue with it. I hate Apple. I hate that they did this. I hate that they went this far to prevent us from doing this. I resent the App Store. I object to their 30% cut. I hate. I think that's a crappy position to put developers in. I'm mad and upset about all this sorts of like is crap from Apple as a company. It's a crap like man, if you want to know like how I really feel about them too, like I watched Lewis Rossman's channel and I hate everything down to the fact that if I want to open that damn phone up and see what it looks like underneath the hood, I have to get a special set of screwdrivers because Apple is proprietary everything. They did all that to secure somebody from even opening it up and looking at what it was like underneath the hood, and learning anything about the schematics and everything that's down there in that direction. It's upsetting that the world is going to this, and I don't want to be part of it at all. And I just have a family that they just wanted something that worked and put it together. They're not like me. They're not of that school of thought. Take some personal responsibility for it. I'm gonna have to be the one that installs these devices. I'm gonna have to be the one to upgrade my computer. Like I have to take responsibility for the damn device. And I had to go out and select all the parts for my computer that's in there in that room. In the other room, like I literally had to go on eBay and assemble a list of parts to buy. Buy it all and put it together. Basically, I ran into a few difficulties in putting it together, and fortunately, like Geek Squad was able to handle the rest of it. But like I selected a set of parts for them, and they put it together for me. And it's unfortunate that I wasn't able to do it myself. Unfortunately, because I didn't understand the case that I had at that time. Like the guy came over and like he had to open the front panels towards it, and I didn't realize exactly how the case was assembled, and it was just like the wiring was wrapped around it, like in cable management to such a degree that I couldn't even get the power supply out of the damn thing. And then I ended up realizing, fuck it, I'm gonna have to go order a whole new case for this, thing, and but I want to harvest the damn power supply so I can sell it off, to somebody else that needs a power supply in the damn thing and strip the device down and sell it. I did that with my old computer. I disassembled a lot of it and everything. I didn't have an issue doing it. But the truth is very, like, I'm on a limited budget still. I don't have a very massive one. I'm not all that, individually. I don't have that much to my name that's freed up by all of the money that I do have is tied up in toys that are going into my store. I'm waiting for some of that stuff to sell so I can pay off credit cards and then go, sub to 2600, get the damn Netgear router, and then start thinking about getting an Android phone. Um, you know, uh, I would say, go ahead, leave your abusive comments towards me about it, because the social pressure in a certain way, like, I'm not. I guess you could say that, like, personally, I don't object on the basis that you're bullying somebody for leaving a comment about an iPhone. That's not the basis. It's just I object on the basis that you're making an assumption. You know, like, I only have an iPhone because my mom doesn't know fuck all about phones. And so she joined the cult of Apple. She didn't consider it that important.